Hey everybody, and warm welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we have a blind battle for you in the form of Bookers. Run that VD. Okay folks, before we get into today's video, if you're not a subscriber, please consider being one. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit the like button. So we have a blind Bookers battle for everybody here today, and we're going to ask the question, is Bookers getting better or is it getting worse? So we have a 2015 edition Bookers here. This is Dots Batch, 2015-02, I believe. And then we also have the Pigskin Batch back from 2020-3, and then we also have Tagalong backs back from 2021, and this is the second edition. So I believe the MSRP on this one was about $60, and the ABV is 63.7% coming in, and then also 7 years, 2 months, and 5 days. That was the 2015. And then on the Pigskin Batch, this is 63.65% alcohol. And this is coming in at 6 years, 7 months, and 7 days. And then on the Tagalong Batch, we have 63.95% coming in at the youngest one at 6 years and 5 months. So what we'll do is, let's go ahead and get these into glasses here. All right, folks, and we are back. So lately, you know, I've had a little bit of to say about Bookers. I haven't exactly been dunking on them at all, but I have said in a different video that I don't believe they're worth hunting for. I feel like they're a little bit overpriced for what you're getting. You know, you're getting us between a 6 and 7 year bourbon. Yes, it is a cask strength, and yes, it does come in a pretty box, but I do personally think it's a little bit overpriced. So what I'm hoping for today is that I'm just hoping for a really good experience, and I'm hoping that Bookers can surprise me, because 2 of these bottles weren't open. I have tried other Bookers before, but 2 of these bottles weren't open, so I'm hoping they're going to be really good. So my wife has mixed these up, so I have no idea which is which. And again, just to recap, we have the 2020-03, which is the Pigskin. We have the 2021-2, which is the Tagalong, and then we also have the one from 2015-2, which is the Dots Batch. So let's get into these, let's cleanse this palate, and let's get on with the video. So first glass, we're gonna go from your left to your right. So this is gonna be 1, 2, 3. Oh no, let's actually do A, B, C, so then when we rank them, it'll be a little bit easier. So glass A, get a really nice apple note actually, straight up on the front, kind of like a Fiji apple, so like a bright red apple. Not too much spice, and actually not any peanut at all, which is quite surprising because normally I get a lot of peanut from Jim Beam. I get a lot of caramel, plenty of vanilla there as well. Getting lots of vanilla. It's kind of almost like vanilla ice cream with some like caramel sort of syrup drizzled on top, with a little bit of dried apple, I guess, sprinkled there as well. Okay, let's go for a taste of this glass A. Okay, so immediately, again, a ton of spice. This has just come out of nowhere. Almost like a lot of rice spice and a lot of pepper. I am feeling the heat, but it's very drinkable. Yeah, like it definitely tells you that it's like an above 55% alcohol whiskey, but it doesn't taste like it's more like in the 60s. But you're definitely picking up that heat. Also, the mouthfeel is nice and thick as well, so I appreciate the mouthfeel on this. Not gonna get in too much of those fruit notes thus far. Let's go in for another taste on glass A. Not getting a whole lot of age on this, which is expected. Getting a lot of oak tannins though, which is coming from, I guess, like the fact that it's cask proof. And I'm getting a lot of sweetness up front. And then as that goes by, you get sweetness, you get a lot of like pepper spice and rice spice, and then that kind of dries out then to like the oak tannins there. I'm not getting any fruit on the finish there. Maybe a little bit of leather and tobacco I'm picking up there. I know that sometimes I'll say that in tandem with each other quite a lot, because I feel like those notes are quite similar. I guess you get maybe like a little bit more of, when you say tobacco, it's a little bit more of a spicier note. But all in all, a pretty solid start. So then let's cleanse the palate and go into glass B. All right, let's go in for a nose here. So picking up a little bit of citrus actually on this one, as compared to the first one. It was more like an apple note. Citrus I'm getting is the first thing I notice here. So I'm picking up more of like a caramel peanut brittle if you know what that is. You can sometimes get it from like confectionery stores at big bars. It's really hard, and it's kind of like a fill-in extractor. But it's very nice, you know, and very sweet, sugary, but then you get the peanuts in there as well and the caramel coating. Kind of noses like that a lot. A little bit of corn as well on this one. Probably a better nose than Glass A. Glass B has been so far. Maybe a touch of cherry as well on this one. Cherry and some chocolate there as well. Let's go in for a taste. Glass B. So I am still getting the peanut. It's definitely coming through from the nose. This one, however, drinks a lot hotter than the first glass. I don't quite know what it is because I don't think there was too much alcohol content between the two, but it kind of took me back a little bit. So I'm getting a little bit more of kind of like the alcohol kind of grain or corn note coming through in the palate. It's very hot, very peppery, very spicy. So let's go in for another taste and see what other notes we can pick up here on the finish. So I'm picking up some more barrel char on this one, but it does drink very hot. You do get the sweetness straight away, but that kind of subsides straight away, and then you're just getting a lot of hot ethanol notes coming through. Really good nose, not so good palate. The finish, then you get a little bit then of that tobacco, and then a touch of kind of like peanut shells. So you're getting like that wood char or like a wood barrel char right at the end there as well. So let's go into the last glass, and that is Glass C. After I do my palate first, cleanse my palate. Almost get a little bit of kind of like a Kellogg's Rice Krispie bar. Kind of have like a bit of marshmallow and kind of like those rice notes come through in this one. I am picking up some, I think like some sort of red berry. Actually, I'm thinking more blueberry actually in this one, which is not a note that I'm too familiar with whiskey, but it's definitely there. Yeah, so just kind of like a Rice Krispie bar with some blueberries, I guess is the best way to explain it thus far. Let's go in for a taste, yeah. I'm getting like some of those typical Jim Beam notes. A lot of kind of peanuts and peanut shell up front. A little bit of kind of like a chocolate dust note, but like a dark chocolate, like the Hershey's dark chocolates you can get in kind of like those boxes. You scoop the dark chocolate out. It's kind of like that. That's more of like a powdery, drying chocolate note. Much less hot than the second glass. This is kind of more Beam-like, but it's a lot more sweet and a lot more approachable. So far, out of the three, I think that this is really good in terms of how drinkable it is compared to the other two. That's not necessarily means that it's good. It's just very approachable and very drinkable, so it kind of gets points for that. Let's go in for another taste here. So what I will say about this glass, you get the sweetness, you get the peanut notes, you get the chocolate notes, and then you get a little spike of heat just as you were about to go into the finish. That kind of sits there right on the tongue. But then as it starts going into the finish, there's not really too much there in the finish. I would say there's a little bit of maybe like with that heat, there might be a little bit of rice spice there as well. But apart from that, it does fall off a little bit. So a very short finish on this one, maybe compared to the other two. So out of these three glasses, they all kind of have a little bit something different going for it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause the camera. I'm gonna taste through them again. I'm gonna figure out my order, and then we'll come back and then we'll reveal who's today's winner. All right, folks, and we're back. And after much deliberation, we have them in order. So one was pretty easy to rank, and then other two was a bit more challenging. And the winner came from those two, so that's really good. That means that two were better compared to the one which is easier to rank. So let's find out what came in last place. And it shouldn't be a surprise, that was Glass 2. So why I put this glass in last place, or Glass B, I mean. So why I put this glass in last place was, it was just so hot. I don't know what it was different to these two, but I couldn't really taste too much of the stuff that was going on in this. It was just too hot and peppery, and it just kind of blew my palate apart, and I wasn't really prepared for that. So then let's find out what that glass was. And that was Glass B, and I have the answer key in my here, and that is the 2015 edition. So we're going back in time, and we're going back to the 2015 Dots Batch. So that's a bit of a statement right there, but we'll go into that at the end. And then second place was Glass C or 3, and that is the Tagalong Batch. So we're going into the future now, and that is 2021 Tagalong Batch, which means today's winner. And let's make sure we've done it right, and that is so that is going to be the Bookers Pigskin Batch. Let me just double check here. Cool, that's it. So we have an order, and that is in first place is the Pigskin Batch back in 2020. Second place then we have the Tagalong Batch, and then last place we have the 2015 batch. So the question that we asked at the beginning is Bookers getting better or worse? Is kind of inconclusive. You know, the 2021 was the best Pigskin Batch, then 2021 was the second best, and then the 2015 was the last, or I suppose third or last. But this was considerably last. Like I said, it was just way too hot, drunk, too strong, too grainy. Kind of, if you ever tried like White Dog, as it comes out of like a distillation process, it kind of tastes closer to that than it does of an aged bourbon. So at least we can say that the newer Bookers are drinking a lot easier. And of course, these are just 3 editions in a very large Booker lineup. So take that information however you'd like it to. But as we answer that question, is Bookers getting better or worse? It's inconclusive, like I said. So as we drink through the world's whiskies one glass at a time, cheers.